Hi, my name is Logan Mitchell, and I'm here with JT Emerson. And we're here today to present to you the FTP procedure using a product called FileZilla Client. And first thing I'd like to point out is what is FTP? FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. Represents is the idea of transferring typically large files from your local machine server somewhere, or vice versa, transferring files from the remote server onto your local machine. And this has many uses. A lot of times, email clients have a cap on how big of files they can have as attachments. So if that's the case and you need to send a large file to a company or a client or something like that, you can use FTP instead if they have an FTP site set up. Additionally, if you are a web developer and you have all of your website files hosted on a server somewhere, they oftentimes have an FTP client where you can make changes on your local machine to your website and directly upload those files via FTP.
So I will be talking to you about what FileZilla is. FileZilla is a software that we use to connect to the remote FTP server. This software allows us to transfer files from our local machine to the remote server and also download remote files to our local machine. So FileZilla is what actually helps us make the FTP happen. If you'll go ahead and move to the next slide with me, we'll go ahead and talk about what you need in order to download FileZilla. FileZilla takes certain operating systems, mainly Windows, Mac, and Linux. As far as Windows goes, you need a Windows 7 or newer. Also with Mac OS X, you need 10.7 or higher, and Linux 8.0 are the best operating systems that are compatible with FileZilla.
Right, and to backpack on that, if you have another flavor of Linux, you can just use the package manager to download and install FileZilla. Additionally, what you're going to need is obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but you'll need an internet connection because you're going to be downloading the file from the website. Once you've got FileZilla installed, you're going to need some information from who we call the FTP host. So that is the company or organization that has the FTP site. They're going to grant you access to their site. So what you'll need from them is a server address. For example, their ftp.slocounty.ca.gov is the one for the county for which I work. Additionally, you'll need a port number, and typically it's going to be the default, either 21 for FTP or 22 for secure FTP. You'll need credentials. You'll need a username and a password from the organization. This could be an anonymous username and password, or they could grant you a specific password so that you would have your own account. And finally, typically organizations will provide either documentation or a web page that explains how to use their FTP file structure. So you'll be getting access to their server, their file structure, and they want you to know where to get your files from or where to put your files.
So on the next slide, you will see some instructions on how to download FileZilla so that you can use the software of FileZilla in order to complete this FTP process. You need to navigate to filezilla-project.org. There you will see clear instructions on how to download. You click the download button, choose your operating system, and walk through the steps on the FileZilla Setup exe. For more detailed instructions on setting up FileZilla and downloading it, you can refer to our instructions document and also the slides. But as far as this is concerned, FileZilla has very clear instructions on how to go through the download process. Like I said, though, you can see more detailed process on our instructions document.
Thank you, JT. All right, so now we're going to be looking at connecting to a server. So you've got FileZilla downloaded, you've installed it on your PC, you've launched it, or your Mac or Linux machine, you've downloaded it on your computer, and you've launched it. And one of the first things you're going to see in the program is along the top there, you'll see the bar that you can see on this slide to a server. And it's got the fields that we were already just talking about. It's got a field for the host, the username, the password, and the port. That was all information that you should have received from the FTP host or from the host organization. And so the host field is the FTP address. Like I said before, an example would be ftp.slocounty.ca.gov. It would be something similar to that. You'll put in your username, you'll put in your password, and if they gave you a port that is different from 21 or 22, go ahead and use that. Otherwise, you can leave the port blank and just click Quick Connect. Scrolling on the panel just below the Quick Connect bar, and it'll indicate whether or not you've connected correctly. If you fail to connect correctly, you'll get some error messages, and you can see how to deal with those in our troubleshooting section.
On the next slide, you'll see some information on how to retrieve a remote file. So in FileZilla, it consists of 4 different sections, basically 4 boxes. You'll be dealing here with the lower right-hand box and the lower left-hand box. And the lower right-hand box is the remote server. You need to navigate to the file that you want to download in the lower right-hand box. On the lower left-hand box is your local machine. Navigate to the section that you would like to download the file to. Now, once you've navigated to the proper sections on the remote and local server and machine, you need to double-click on the file, and it will automatically download it from the server to your machine. Or you can right-click the file and click on Download, as the image shows on the slide. Either way, it will download the file to the proper location.
Thanks again, JT. Now we're going to move on to the next slide and talk about transferring a local file. So we just talked about getting a file from the remote server and bringing it onto your local machine. Now we're going to do the reverse. You're going to take something you have on your machine, and we're going to upload it to a remote server. The process, though, is pretty much the same. You're going to navigate on your local machine on the lower left-hand pane to where the file resides, and then you're going to navigate on the lower right-hand pane to where the your FTP instructions indicate that your uploads should go. Again, to the lower left-hand box where your local file is, either double-click it or right-click and select Upload, and the file will begin to upload from there. Once again, my name is Logan Mitchell, and thank you for joining us.
My name is JT Emerson. Thank you very much for watching our presentation, and we hope that everything was clear, and now you will be able to FTP files using FileZilla. Thank you.